Our next speaker this morning is the Honorable Shad White, Republican. He's our state auditor of the state of Mississippi.
Hey, good morning. How are y'all? Before I get going, I got to reintroduce you to two of my favorite people. So my wife, Rena, is here today, and my oldest girl, Zara, is here today. I got a big announcement right off the top. You ready? Everybody listening? Tomorrow is Zara's first day of kindergarten. Isn't that cool? Yeah. They're clapping for you. And it's good to be with you all here today. Isn't it good to be out here knowing we live under a sovereign God? Isn't that amazing? You know, I was thinking back about Butler, Pennsylvania several weeks ago and thinking back about the assassination attempt on President Donald Trump. And I can't help but think that God spared him that day for a reason. And it was just a really good reminder that God is in control every single day of our lives. It was a great reminder. But I will say this, it's really disappointing to me because we had one Mississippi politician who, if he had his way, President Trump wouldn't have Secret Service protection. And you know who I'm talking about. That politician is Congressman Benny Thompson. He tried to strip Donald Trump of his Secret Service protection. He even had a staffer who wished that the assassin's aim had been better. I mean, that is just absolutely nuts. If Benny Thompson had any self-respect left, he would have resigned last week, just like the Secret Service director. It probably would also help, though, to be honest with you, if the Secret Service focused a little less on DEI and a little more on, I don't know, call me crazy, protecting President Trump. That's probably the next best thing to do. I mean, have you all heard of this? DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion? This stuff is just crazy. So these are programs that federal agencies or universities where they make employees sit through trainings or they make students sit through trainings. It's basically just indoctrination. That's all it is. And unfortunately, my office found that here in Mississippi, me and you, the taxpayers, we pay millions of dollars every single year for DEI trainings at our public universities. It makes absolutely no sense at all. It makes absolutely no sense. It's got to stop. And I'll tell you, we've had some shots to stop it. There have been bills that went forward that would have eliminated taxpayer funding of DEI, but there's really only one reason why all these bills continue to get killed and why we have to keep funding DEI, and the reason is the Lieutenant Governor's office, to be honest with you. It's Delbert Hosemann. Every single time a bill like that comes up before the state Senate, it gets killed somehow. So think about what you're paying for. We've got DEI offices telling students that, you know, the biggest evil in the world is whiteness, whatever that is. I mean, what is that? That makes no sense at all. And we're paying for it every single day. This makes no sense at all. To me, it's not just evil, it's also wasteful. So at my alma mater, Ole Miss, they have 20 DEI staffers. The head DEI staffer makes more money than the governor and the lieutenant governor combined. And what did they do with all this money? You can look back at what they said they did. Their biggest achievement in the last couple of years, according to them, was handing out a grant to pay for a study of equity-based yoga for preschoolers. Now look, I've got 3 kids in my house, ages 5, 2, and 1. I probably could teach them yoga if I really stretched and tried, but I have no idea what equity-based preschool yoga is supposed to be. This stuff is just nonsense. It's just a waste of money. So look, we've got to find a way to stop this. Somebody's got to explain to me, like I'm a 4-year-old or a well-trained golden retriever, how all these other states can ban money going to DEI, but somehow we cannot. I mean, North Carolina, Florida, Alabama, Tennessee, Texas, Oklahoma, North Dakota, Wyoming, Kansas, Utah, Idaho, all these states are banning taxpayer money going to DEI, but we can't do it somehow. This is just common sense. Stop spending money on DEI and start spending it on the stuff that matters. Common sense stuff. While we're on education, let me talk about this. My office found that in Mississippi, unfortunately, we spend a higher percentage of our K-12 education dollars on administrative costs than any other state in the South. We got administrators in some of the poorest school districts making more money than the governor. I still think we have the highest paid state superintendent of education in the country, but we still, unfortunately, have some of the lowest paid teachers in the country. We got teachers, like my mom who taught for 35 years, we got teachers still having to pay for their own classroom supplies. Something about that doesn't make sense. And we had a shot, the state had a shot to fix this when we had a new school funding formula, but somehow the state Senate didn't put it in there. We've got to start getting this stuff right. We've got to have Republican politicians who start acting a little bit more like conservatives and a little less like Joe Biden. That's probably the answer right there. And look, I know that now that I've said all this stuff, somebody will probably tell me to go jump in the Gulf of Mexico, and that's fine. Look, this is not personal. The stuff that I'm saying is not personal. This is about policy. This is about how your money is being spent. Our taxpayer money is being spent. This is about the future of the state. Frankly, it's about whether or not we're going to have politicians who understand that we are in a fight right now for the minds of young Americans. And I don't want to raise my kids to believe that they should treat everybody equally, regardless of the color of their skin, because we're all equal in the eyes of God, only to send them off to a Mississippi public university and have them brainwashed to believe the exact opposite. And I certainly don't want to be the one paying for the brainwashing as a taxpayer. That's the kind of stuff that's got to stop. We need politicians in Mississippi who will understand that taxpayer dollars need to work for taxpayers. And I'll say this, my office has taken that mission very, very seriously over the course of the last 6 years. We have uncovered a massive amount of waste. We uncovered healthcare dollars, your money, going to pay for the healthcare of dead people. I'm serious. Google Clarion Ledger, Shad, White, Medicaid, dead people, and you'll find out quick. We found people on entitlement programs who are making too much money to be on the entitlement programs. One couple living in a mansion in Madison County on Medicaid. Hundreds of thousands of dollars going to pay for cell phones for state employees, and the cell phones aren't even turned on. It's nuts. All this stuff is nuts. And so if you add it up, we estimate that we've uncovered about $300 million of recurring waste in state government every single year. Imagine what that money would do if we put it to stuff that actually mattered. Hundreds and hundreds of miles of roads and bridges, hundreds of cops on the street, or tax cuts. Heaven forbid we should give it back to y'all as a tax cut, an income tax cut, or a grocery tax cut. You know, every time we load up our family of 5 and go to the grocery store, I am shocked at how little we can buy with $300. And I always think, wouldn't it be nice to have a little bit of relief by not paying taxes on that? But unfortunately, I always have to think of the fact that, well, we could be paying for a tax cut, but we've got all this money that we're wasting in state government. It's just going down the drain. That's what's happening to the money. As state auditor, I can tell you this, my job is not to change these policies. I'm not allowed to change these policies. My job is to find and tell you about fraud, waste, and abuse. That's my purpose. But my belief is that Mississippi voters are going to find somebody who is going to take a chainsaw to this fat at some point, and we're going to get it going in the right direction. If we do that, I believe that Mississippi has more potential to flourish than any other state in the country. We are, by the numbers, the most generous people in the country. We stand for the national anthem, we bend our knee in prayer, and we are never going to let anybody tell our kids that that's a bad thing. We are the state of Elvis and B.B. King. We are the state of Faulkner and Tennessee Williams, and we deserve a government that works well for the taxpayers. And I believe deep in my bones that if the same old politicians who have been in charge can't figure out how to deliver that, the voters are going to find somebody who can deliver that over the course of the next few years. They're going to figure it out. God bless you. God bless the state of Mississippi. Stay cool out there today.